Today we got our first look at Far Cry 6, the next entry in Ubisoft's flagship series, with a beautiful and intense cinematic reveal trailer, also with gameplay screenshots. I cannot wait to see a true gameplay because its story looks to be really cool. This time around, you lead a guerrilla revolution, fighting to free the fictional island nation of Yara from its brutal dictator. Welcome to Yara, a tropical paradise frozen in time, located in the heart of the Caribbean. The island has seen better days though. Decades of economic sanctions have devastated the nation, leaving it impoverished and divided. As its dictator's practices get increasingly more disturbing, you'll get swept up in a modern-day guerrilla revolution. Your journey to burn down this tyrannical regime takes you through the island's lush jungles, dense cities, and beautiful beaches. Ubisoft is calling it the most expansive Far Cry playground to date. You play as Danny Rojos, who you can choose to be male or female. In terms of Danny, what Ubisoft wanted to do was explore a character that is fully voiced, also fully performance captured, and you can play as both male and female. They also wanted a character that was born and raised on the island of Yara, is a local, and someone who didn't necessarily see themselves as part of a revolution or an uprising, but who gets swept up in the Libertad movement. A small Ubisoft team went down to Cuba to take in everything for inspiration. They got to meet with the locals and explore the culture and the diversity, but they also got to talk to actual guerrillas who fought in the revolution there. There are all sorts of reasons people will join up and fight in a guerrilla revolution. Some want to shoot guns and feel that adrenaline kick, while others are looking to do it for the country and for the flag. They also said they think that dynamic was really interesting narratively, and then also from the gameplay perspective, the idea of this David versus Goliath dynamic. Also because the island has been under a blockade for about 50 years. Having to make do with what you have was really interesting, in terms of gameplay and also in terms of how you approach Far Cry 6. Ubisoft says to expect some unconventional weapons due to trying to make do with what's available on the island, in addition to having vehicles and animal companions. The antagonist is the dictator Anton Castillo. Anton Castillo, played by Giancarlo Esposito, looks like an amazing fit for this franchise, and has a bit of a crazy side like all villains. As El Presidente of Yara, he's kept the country under his tight control, often resorting to brutal methods to achieve what he thinks is the greater good. He was elected to return the struggling island to its former glory, and will stop at nothing to achieve his vision. Anton believes the island was at its best 50 years ago, before the first revolution. Ubisoft said the revolution actually took over and ended up executing Anton's father right before his eyes. So right from the beginning, Anton has grown up with this perspective and mindset and worldview that the island was stolen from his family. For a first in the series, Yara houses a sprawling capital city which is called Esperanza. You can navigate the area more stealthily or go guns blazing in firefights through the streets. Ubisoft is going to be talking about a lot of the gameplay elements at a later date, but it definitely changes the way you play and approach things to have a city of this size, which is a first for Far Cry. When you have a city, there is definitely verticality involved, and you really get the sense of a revolution, because a guerrilla revolution usually starts in the jungles and in the farmlands, but you sort of circle and approach a city, and when you attack a city, you just feel the weight of oppression, just in the scale of the buildings and being able to navigate rooftops and alleys. It not only changes the way you play, but it changes how the narrative feels. What Ubisoft really wanted for Far Cry 6 was having the main villain, Castillo, who was born during a revolution and developed a very twisted worldview after the execution of his father, but also someone who is a father himself. They go on to say there's just something interesting about what it's like to be in the room with the dictator and see how they try to justify what they're doing and see things from their perspective. On top of that, seeing Anton as a character who not only is running a country but also as a father, trying to pass down these lessons to his son that are twisted and basically brutal and offensive. At the same time, the layer on top of that is he loves Diego, his son. He wants him to grow up safe and secure, and he actually believes he's doing the right thing. While the developers didn't share too many details about the game at this time, they briefly explained some new and returning features coming to the game. Described as the most ambitious open world yet, the island of Yara includes a mix of jungles, coastal towns, farmlands, and urban environments to explore, the latter of which is a rarity for the series. Throughout the game, you'll acquire weapons, gadgets, and vintage vehicles based on technology handed down and recycled from decades past. Returning from Far Cry 5 is the Thanks for Hire feature, allowing you to partner up with allies met in the main story, one of which is a pitbull named Chorizo. Another change coming to Far Cry 6 is the return of the voice protagonists, who will be present in cutscenes and have more agency in the story than most other Far Cry lead characters. Far Cry 6 looks to continue on with the series tradition of featuring vibrant, lush worlds to explore, while following the trail of a brutal, charismatic antagonist whose presence is felt throughout the game. Far Cry 6 is set for release on February 18, 2021 for PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, and current-gen consoles. Make sure you drop a like on this video for more gaming news like this, and subscribe to stay tuned.